The Delhi Chief Minister has ducked the question on pollution. As Delhi chokes, Chief Minister's baad mein response has stunned the people of Delhi and NCR. Take a look at the sequence.
लेकिन सर हल्का सा पोल्यूशन आपने यहाँ भी देखा होगा, दिल्ली का देखा होगा, किस तरह से आंसर करिए। लेकिन सर हल्का सा पोल्यूशन आपने यहाँ भी देखा होगा, दिल्ली का देखा होगा, किस तरह से आंसर करिए।
Response while he was in Rajasthan earlier. Let's also go across to my colleagues tracking the story very, very closely. We have Prashant as well as Harish joining us on the broadcast. Prashant, to you first. I believe Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has called for an emergency meeting to discuss the pollution problem.
Well, that said, an emergency meeting has been called by Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal around 5 p.m. and in the meeting, you'll have who's who of the Delhi government, including Deputy Chief Minister, including the Health Minister, and also the Chief Secretary. This, of course, in the wake of the, the observations that have now come in from Supreme Court, in which the Apex Court, in a way, recommended and in a way advised the government to consider an option of having a 2-day lockdown to impose emergency measures to give relief to people. But the sequence that you were just playing out was a sequence from Rajasthan, where he was there. Today is Arvind Kejriwal's marriage anniversary, and he was there at a temple to seek blessings of the god. And when he was coming out, some journalists over there were asking him questions on what he has to say on pollution. That is the reason why he said baad mein, because he has called a meeting at 5 p.m. and that's the point that we are breaking here right now. But if you talk about pollution levels, we have reports from various corners of Delhi that show how bad the situation is right now in the national capital, Hina.
Right. Stay on with us, Prashant. In fact, the Supreme Court of India, like you were also mentioning, took a serious view of the pollution level in Delhi and NCR and has told the centre to even consider declaring a 2-day lockdown to curb the air pollution menace. The court, in fact, has asked the government to consider some immediate measures as well, anyhow, to bring the pollution in the Delhi NCR region down from 500 to 200. That's the air quality index. Let's go across to Harish now for more on this. Harish, some scathing observations were made by the Chief Justice of India today, and an important one was that it has become a fashion now to blame the farmers over pollution, when in reality the contribution of stubble burning to our toxic air is just about 20-25%.
Yes, that's right, Hina. Very critical comments coming in from the Supreme Court at a time when a thick blanket of smog even now envelops the Delhi and NCR areas, which we have been witnessing since past almost 10 days, causing severe problems for especially the aged and the children. The Chief Justice at the outset said that the situation is so bad, serious and grave and so hazardous that we are forced to wear masks even inside our homes. So the Chief Justice has suggested several drastic emergency measures, as Prashant said, even a 2-day lockdown and a ban on certain kind of vehicles and shutting down of schools. Supreme Court was scathing at Delhi government for why it had opened schools at such a dangerous time, exposing the children to risk severe lung problems. And you should remember that when Delhi government and centre had blamed stubble burning for the pollution, the Supreme Court said the farmer bashing, why are you blaming the farmers? Are you blaming the farmers? Farmer bashing has become a fashion, but in our view, stubble burning accounts for just 25 to 30%, but you have to address the other factors, other major factors like vehicular emission, cracker bursting, dust and industrial pollution.
So important observations there. Of course, time has now been given, so we'll see how the centre and the state government will really respond to these. Thank you very much, Harish as well as Prashant. Appreciate both of you for joining us with those updates. In fact, here's what the people of Delhi and NCR have to say about the problems that they are facing. Listen in.
सुबह मॉर्निंग वॉक जब निकलते हैं, फोग जो दिखाई देती है, जो पोल्यूशन ही है, ये स्वास्थ्य के लिए काफ़ी हानिकारक है।
काफ़ी ज़्यादा परेशानी हो रही है। हवा में मतलब पता लगता है कि हवा में मतलब सल्फ़र, आज मुझे फील हो रहा है सल्फ़र की स्मेल आ रही है और काफ़ी मतलब जहरीली गैसें हैं हवा में, पता लग रहा है। तो परेशानी तो हो रही है काफ़ी, और जिन लोगों को सांस लेने में दिक्कत हो रही है, जिनके घर में बूढ़े बुजुर्ग हैं, उनको खासी परेशानी हो रही है।
जैसे कि ओल्ड एज पीपल हैं उनके लिए बहुत ज़्यादा दिक्कत है। इवन मेरे फादर भी हैं, वो काफ़ी ओल्ड एज है। पहले वो मेरे साथ आते थे, लेकिन जब से ये दिवाली हुआ है उसके बाद से पॉल्यूशन लेवल और ज़्यादा बढ़ गया है, तो वो भी नहीं आ पाते हैं। मैं भी आता हूँ, थोड़ा लेट आता हूँ, अब वो घर पे ही रहते हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली प्रॉब्लम्स है और सभी के लिए हैं ये प्रॉब्लम्स।
सर इसमें बहुत ज़्यादा दिक्कत आ रही है, लोग जितने भी हैं बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान हैं।
मेट्रो में घुसने के बाद सफोकेशन हुआ, तकलीफ महसूस हो रहा था कि बहुत ज़्यादा।
This is how the people of Delhi had to react on the current air that they are breathing and the problems that they are facing. Joining us on the broadcast right now are two doctors to help you deal with this crisis. We have Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, Chairman Nephron, live with us. We also have with us right now Dr. Prashant Chahar, who is the Director Pulmonology, Fortis Hiranandani Hospital. Good afternoon to both of you, gentlemen. So we want you to answer the queries of our viewers because, you know, the situation is quite bad and they really need some kind of help so that they remain protected. So let me introduce the viewers as well who are already with us. Rupal is joining us from Vadodara. Good afternoon, Rupal. Anything that you would like to ask?
Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. Good to talk to you after such a long time. Thanks for taking my call. No, I don't have any question. I just wanted to say that situation after Diwali in Gujarat, even in Baroda, is slightly worse considering the fact that people are still bursting firecrackers.
Right.
So earlier it was because of corona that people were suffering. Now it is like a lot of smog and everything early morning,
Yes.
you know, when you go for your walk.
Yes,
So
absolutely. That's a big cause of concern. Rupal, appreciate you joining us and calling us here on Times Now. Prasanjit is joining us from Pune now. Paul with us from New Delhi too. Prasanjit, to you first. Thank you for calling us. Any question that you have?
Yeah, basically, you know, I was watching this report on Times Now. It's really pathetic. I mean, the situation. I mean, keeping the politics aside, all the state government or whoever are the authorities, they should, you know, at least give the citizens or the residents of Delhi their right to breathe.
Yes, right to breathe is very, very important, and that's what we really deserve. Thank you, Prasanjit, for calling us here on Times Now. Paul with us from New Delhi. Paul, we don't have that caller yet, but let me go across to my guest now. Dr. Sanjeev Bagai, the situation is bad. Your recommendations, what should be done?
Good afternoon. I think the situation is not bad. It's really critically grave. I think the medical aspects of this need to be highlighted very aggressively. India is losing 1.7 million people because of air pollution. Delhi itself has a death directly related to air pollution crossing 55,000 every year. This is a cruel joke which is being played year after year. We need a multidisciplinary approach to this. It can't be done in a piecemeal band-aid solution just to satisfy the need of the hour during this period. I think the respiratory problems are taking paramount importance. Asthma, bronchitis, breathing difficulties, and people who have comorbidities such as hypertension, arrhythmia, people with strokes. It's causing a huge amount of mental anxiety and depression, hearing loss, skin allergies, eyes. Cancer is a leading cause which is going to devastate us in the next 10 to 15 years because all this pollution contains fluorohydrocarbons and radiotoxic oxidates which are extremely harmful to the body. Fetal damage to pregnant ladies. You're harming the next generation almost ASAP.
Yes.
And of course infertility. So people who are elderly, who have comorbidities, people who are small, less than 5 years of age group, avoid this exposure outside to this environment. It's nothing short of a gas chamber. If you have past history of wheezing, please consult your doctor and take the prophylactic inhaler. Do not do any self-medication or any alternative medication at home. Look out for warning signs of breathing difficulty or lack of oxygen as far as a simple saturation test at home is concerned. Watch out for fevers or dry hacking cough or any other skin allergies. Consult your local doctor.
Right.
Please stay at home as much as possible.
Right. Stay at home as much as possible. That's your advice too. That's what the Central Pollution Watchdog has also said. But Dr. Prashant, there are many like us and like you all as well who have to go out for work. So how can one really protect oneself from this kind of toxic air that we are breathing outside?
So the important aspect here is that, you know, for those who have to go out despite there being pollution,
I think masks are one of the one of the best ways that can help us to avoid the impact of pollution. And the regular masks which are being used, the 3-layer mask or the cloth mask, they will not be of any help here. Here one has to use the N95 or the N99 mask, and that is the mask which will help to prevent the toxic effects of pollution in this scenario. Now there are two things here. One are patients individuals who already have an underlying lung problem, and of course they are at a very high risk of getting increased cough, wheezing, breathlessness, and also increased risk of infections, because this pollution in the long term can also affect the immune capability of the lungs. So it's extremely important that these individuals who have underlying lung problems continue to take the regular medications as advised by the doctors, particularly patients with asthma and COPD. Having said that, even individuals who are healthy, they also face problems when they are into these polluted areas, like burning of eyes, cough, wheezing, runny nose, postnasal drip. And I think this can be avoided using the N95 mask and, of course, symptomatic therapy.
Very quick question, Dr. Bagai, before we let you go. We have very little time. The Supreme Court has suggested at least a 2-day lockdown. Of course, time has been given for centre and state and the relevant authorities to come back with immediate solutions. But do you think a lockdown is something that can be helpful?
Yeah, I think in these kind of measures internationally, it should have happened a long time back as for yesterday. What we really don't realize is that the baseline pollution as it is very high. These are astronomical spikes which we see, which are in any case in hazard of grave category.
Right.
So like I said, whether it's a law or not a law, by God, stay at home as much as possible, wear a mask if you have to go out, and just look after yourself.
Absolutely. So if you want to stay healthy, clearly you need to stay indoors as much as possible. Keep wearing the mask. And as our doctors told us, the measures that we need to take are very, very important. Thank you very much, both of you, for joining us and giving us that piece of advice. Heading into a short break, more on the other side.